Hi, this is Tim Spakowski from Footsore North America. Today I wanted to make this video to show you how I use Lukes APS forest ground cover and the various forest ground products. Now when I recorded this video, I thought my mic was on and it wasn't, so my voice is not in time with my hand, which, you know, what the hell, it's okay. So this is what I've done. I've taken a 3D model that I downloaded, I believe, off of Thingiverse, and I printed it on my 3D printer. And what I wanted to show you was exactly how I did this. So I've taken this trunk, this is the bare model, without being painted. I glued it onto a CD base, and then I applied grout, pre-mixed grout to it, and then allow that to hard. And so then what I do is I apply my paints and sprays, and I, voila, have painted my tree. Now you can see this is a various stage of the tree with just the base colors and some shading. I think I'm going to go into that in another video. However, if you look at this video and you look at this base, what I've done was I've applied a dark color paint to the CD base itself. It's a dark brown, which I feel is perfect for a good ground color. I've also applied green moss using pigments, and I'll show you how I added some more 3D effects to that moss to make it actually look real. So what I'm going to do now is show you how I applied the moss as well as the base ready. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I applied the moss. Originally I took some green moss pigment and I applied it onto the tree itself. I kind of painted it on there and I applied the fixer. It did not give me the effect that I was looking for. It's kind of dull. It wasn't gritty. It didn't have anything. It was just a flat color. So what I wanted to do was add something else. I wanted you to look at this tree and see, wow, this is actually moss on here. So using a Lukes single color mid-green flock, I will then add this to the base green layer of where I painted originally using the pigments. Then this will establish a nice effect. Okay, so now what I've done is I've taken a just piece of plastic, a lid, I've taken PVA or white Borden's glue, and I've diluted it heavily with water. I've got my fancy craft brush, and what I'm going to do is just take that brush and literally paint that glue onto the surface of where I originally painted the darker pigment. What this is doing is it's going to establish a nice lines of adhesion for the next step. And what I do is I take my handy dandy Lukes single color mid-green and I just sprinkle. See how easy it is? Literally just sprinkling that flock right onto that glue. At first, when I tried this technique years ago, I didn't think anything was going to stick. I thought it was all going to fall off, but no. It goes on pretty easy. You just shake off the remainder and you can always add more. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit. I've not quite covered the whole area. I want a little of that dark to come through. I added some more glue because originally I think I added too much water, which diluted it a lot. So now I've got this a little bit thicker, and then don't worry about the white. The white will dry translucent, so you're not going to have white underneath this moss that you're applying. So I'm just going back again, and now just sprinkling on more moss. I was very happy with this technique. It established a base for me to bring in that 3D look, to make it look like moss is actually growing off of the tree. Now, I can then apply even more glue to the base, and I can put that brush right on that flocking, or I can just stick it anywhere, really. It doesn't take that long. It's a very easy technique to do. You can see that I'm just moving the base around. That's what's great about the CD base. You can just twirl the tree around to make it easier for you to apply the glue. So now I am adding even more color of the single color mid-green, which is a sawdust flock, and I believe it is, and I just keep applying it. So what I'll do then here is allow this to dry a little bit so then I can add more color and lighter tones or even darker tones to the areas here. So this just isn't the only flock that I use for the moss. So I'm zooming in here to show you how it's kind of clumped up, and so that I'm just kind of brushing it off a little bit, adding some more glue, and then I will be adding more of the flock right on top of that glue, just surgically, just drop it right on there. It attaches real well, and what's great is don't worry about anything on the base. If stuff is still on the base, that adds more lush effect to the base itself. But literally, just let this dry, and once it's dry, you can just brush off the remaining flock. Right. So now the tree is dry. Actually, the moss is dry, and I want to show you the effect of the fully dried application. Again, loving the look, loving the three-dimensional aspect of it. As you can see, there's no white glue marks coming out. Everything is dried and looks uniformed. I love the color and the variance of color on that moss. Highly recommend that technique. Now, talked about the base. This is a CD base, and I've added grout, pre-mixed grout to it. I then used my airbrush and used dark brown, and I just sprayed the base. I wanted to establish a very dark color of the base for the next product that I'm going to actually be using to establish the base. And the product that I'm going to be using is Lukes APS Forest Ground Cover, Forest Floor Cover. This is a product that we sell, I use, and I love. Everything you need is in this bag. It's a perfect ground cover mixed with the fast-drying basting glue, and it allows you to quickly put on and create a really nice looking floor, forest floor bed. So I'm going to show you the next video of how I applied this. Okay, now I'm taking the fast-drying glue and liberally applying it all over the base. I'm sure there's another way of using this glue. I prefer this method because it's right out of the bottle, and I just spread it right in there. It's easy. I then take the forest ground cover right out of the bag and sprinkle it all over the glue that I just placed down. It's that easy, and everything that you need in that bag is right there. So it's not just dirt that you're applying or a brown, dark brown texture. There's a lot more to it. There are what looks to me like yellow wood chips or orange wood chips, as you can see here, to really create the forest floor effect. And I love it. It's a great dark effect. It's a dark base, perfect for gaming. Trying to simulate a dark forest. Now, I want to bring this a little bit lighter. I'm going to use the Sawdust Scatter Deep Brown, and what I'm going to do is apply that to the edge of the base. So I'm trying to create some sort of highlight because I don't want everything to be completely dark. And how I'm doing this is I'm taking, again, the Sawdust Deep Brown Scatter, and I have taken some glue and added some water to the glue and prepared it. What I'm doing now is just scattering around the edge, just trying to create an effect that is simulating some sort of a highlight. This also will help establish a ground cover for when I put foliage down. Now I'm just taking my little eyedropper. This was a test to see if the glue is going to come out okay. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I just pour it all over. It's really just that easy. And then I take my brush and kind of move the glue around and making sure I'm covering the area of where I want to adhere that next highlight color, and just dabbing that stuff in and then taking it right out of the bag and just sprinkling it on. It's very easy. It's a very fast technique, and what I like about it is like I said, it's creating some sort of highlights. It's breaking up that base itself. So now it's not just dark. Okay, now I want to highlight that moss I made, and doing that I'm taking a bright green fine 2-in-1 flock, and I'm going to add that to the top layers of the moss that I've already established. I want to do that because, again, I want to create some sort of highlights, create some tones, and this is a great product. Again, I like this. It was a brighter color, so I'm literally just cutting the bag open and then doing the same technique that as I did before with my watered down based glue and my craft brush. I'm now then applying that glue to some areas around the edge or sometimes even on top of the previous flock that I've established. Because again, the idea is to create a highlight. I'm not trying to go crazy here, just trick the eye, just make it a little bit more pleasing so that when you look at it, it's not just one color. I think I could have gone another shade lighter, but for this video, I think this is a good representation of how to use these products. Again, I just take the tree, sprinkle that flock right on there, and dab it down with my finger. Make sure that I'm getting a raised effect as well. It's not just getting pushed down. I want it to, when you look at the base itself, I want you to have a feeling that there's real moss growing on that tree. Okay, here's the final product. I'm very happy with this. Of course, now you can see I've added foliage, plastic foliage that I've purchased on eBay, on Amazon. I've gone to my pet stores and just bought stuff all over the years. Michael's also is a great place to get the stuff. I wanted to apply them around the trunk itself and the base. However, the challenge was I didn't want to cover the entire area because I still want it to be playable. I still want to be able to put figures on this base. So, yes, people might say, man, it's kind of bare, you need to add more. No, in fact, I think it's perfect because it can, again, it's still playable. I think it still looks great. It still gives me the effect that I'm looking for. And it's easy. I applied it using super glue as well as fast drying base glue. I also added some more of the scatter underneath just to break that up to hide the roots itself. I'm very, very happy with how this turned out using all of Lukes products. Zoomed in so you can see all the different colors. Can't be happier. The moss, just, yeah, it's perfect. Looks really good. This was my test piece. I've got like 20 more of these to do. This is a middle stage. And again, wanted to show you a reminder of that's what the base looks like before Lukes APS products and after. And I'm going to scoot this down over and I want you to show you this is how the tree looks like from very, very start to very, very finish. I hope this video helps you guys. I hope it inspires you to use these products to venture out and try something new.